And what about you? In the county today is a Volkswagen Transporter. It's like a minibus thing. And the problem with this machine is, well, the clock's wrong. It's definitely not 10 past 11 at night. But to cut a long story short, it does not go into first, third, or fifth. Occasionally we can get it into reverse, but it does select second, fourth, and sixth. So just to demonstrate, let's see now. So you can feel from this here, like there's nothing happening. That's just, you can feel it's not engaging. So if a clutch in at the minute, just in case I make a boo-boo here, you know, and around the door there. So let's see if we can demonstrate this. So there's first, supposedly. I'll hold it in gear. Let's see now, we'll put it into second. So you can hear it. You can hear it going into second, you know. You can hear something happening. So yeah. Now, see his top bit. So whenever you could try to select any gears, it's just all loose. So the guy contacted me originally. He had been on the forums, looking at forums and all that stuff as people do, and he thought, oh well, does it not just need the cables adjusted or something? There's me. I don't think so. Right, so I've already had a wee look at this car, and I think I know what we may be able to do to try to do a sort of like a cheap fix. Now from here, you're not going to see anything until I start to strip this down, and I can tell you for now, it is an absolute mess, this engine. You know, must be some of the boost pipes are leaking, there's oil everywhere. So the gear selector that goes onto the top of the gearbox, it's way down there. So I'll maybe try to set something up and get you a look at this. Right, so let's see, we can try this here and watch our selector at the same time. Right, so that's the upper gears there, clearly. And it is moving, but I don't know if you can see that. Well, it's very wobbly about that selector thing there, you know. So that's a gear. We can sort of hear it going into gear. And right, okay, we'll maybe get an overview of that. Let's see if we can see anything from that viewpoint. So pretty difficult to get any sort of a view down there. So it's that lever we're looking at is underneath that ABS module, directly underneath it. So anywho, we'll have a wee Jeffrey jig at what that part is. So let me see. There's our lever, our cables, and what have we got there? Number 23, believe it or not, is that gear shift lever, it's called. Let's see, where are we? 23 gear shift lever. So there's two, a G and an H, and one for 5-speed and one for 6-speed. So this one here is the 6-speed one. So that's the part number there for that, which looks as if the splines are just stripped on. Hopefully that's what it needs. Although the picture isn't that good. So I had a look at that whenever the customer's here. It was about a week ago, and I left it up to him to source that part. And I told him preferably get one from Volkswagen, but this is what he turned up with today. This thing here, and it's an eBay job, like, you know. And well, from a distance, it may look all right, but if you look at it a bit closer, it's pretty horrific. So there are our little splines that I suspect are stripped, and it's possible that the shaft is also damaged or stripped or whatever, but you see us for quality. If we can get you in that. Look at that there. It is as rough as a badger's, this thing. But there's a bit of weight to it. If it does the job, then who may they argue? Right, so we'll get a few things pulled out of the way to get at this thing. I've already the water coolant expansion bottle removed, and we'll pull this fuel filter. So viewers of this channel, and if you're subscribed, and if you do subscribe, you know, I do mention these things in passing. So you see that blue pipe there? So that is a return, and that's just from it's a Volkswagen thing. That, well, one was black, and if we give it a bit of a rub, we can see it as being blue. So the way I remember it, it's the same as your arteries, you know. So your blue arteries in your body is the return of blood to your heart. So any blue pipe or a pipe with blue markings on it on a Volkswagen is a return on the fuel. But I'm going to take a picture here of what way these pipes go before I remove this fuel filter housing. Right, with a few bits removed, and let's take you in here and see what this looks like now. And it is an absolute mess in here. So there is our selector on the top of our gearbox, and we do see this here when I move it. So let's see. So this thing just wobbles about and doesn't do an awful lot. Right, so there's our old one out, and let's have a wee look, see if we can. I've cleaned it up a wee bit. I don't know where this is going to come from camera at all, but clearly the teeth are rounded in that, as you would expect. Looks alright from the top, but not so good in there. And if we compare that to this this aftermarket one, we can see the teeth are nice and proud in there. So what I was worried about, you know, what's the teeth like on the actual spindle itself, on the gearbox? So let's have a wee look. It doesn't look too bad. It'll have to do. So we'll have her cleaned up a wee bit there, with a bit of brake clean and what have you, looking a wee bit more, well, presentable. So we can actually see these things now, these teeth or splines or whatever you want to call them. And if we look on the top, if I can get you in there, there's two wee dots, and that gives you an idea of what way that thing's going to go. So you can maybe see, you know, a wee notch there in the teeth. So there's like a proud bit. Where am I? There we are. Just about get it in here. So anyway, we'll get that on. I'll get that selector thing on and put a new nut on, and the torque spec for the nut that goes onto those threads there is 23 Newton meters. So all was going swimmingly until, well, we got let down by our aftermarket products. When will I ever learn? It was a customer supply part, but I should have insisted. Like, I don't know why. Anyway, like, this pin is, or was, 0.2 millimeters in diameter and girth, you know, too wide to go into the selector cable. So the selector cable did go on, and if you pushed it or forced it a wee bit, it would go on. But whenever this moved back and forward, it was binding on that white plastic, which in turn then was pulling on the rubber bush that is, you know, surrounding in the selector cable head here, you know. So it had to come off again, and that had to be dressed, you know, just with sandpaper. It didn't take much now to get it off, and then sort of like a dry fit, and had to refit it again. So yeah, visually there is very little difference, but when I measured this with the calipers, it was 8 mil diameter exactly, and the other one that I fitted and had to take off again, it was 8.2. Well, by the way, the nut that goes on here, you're supposed to replace it because it's sort of like an oval hole. It's not exactly round, so it's like a lock nut type job. I didn't have one, so I put a bit of blue Loctite on it. So yeah, clearly this nut has loosened up, I think, and has buggerized them threads there, or splines, teeth, whatever you want to call it. But so we did a bit of blue Loctite on it, hopefully a wee bit of prevention. But yeah, why do I fit aftermarket stuff? We all know the punter's trying to save himself money, you know, but well, sometimes it ends up a false economy, because, you know, I had to put that thing on there, and then I had to take it off again and dress it and make it fit. On another day it might be a paper rip, and in this case the punter bought it himself, and I warned him at the time, if this doesn't do, you eat it. Well, there we go, the car's changing gear brilliantly. That's totally transformed, so it's no problem at all. So yeah, he thought maybe he was looking at a gearbox, worst case scenario, but sure, we got it sorted. Now, I don't recommend this aftermarket parts. A lot of garages will not fit customer supply parts. It is not a common thing, and I have turned it. Depends who it is for me, you know, depends how well I know the person. But as a general rule, most garages do not fit customer supply parts. So if you go to a Motor Factors and buy a lot of filters and all that there for a service or something, and then you approach somebody, go to a garage or whatever, and say, I need a service done, and I have all the parts. Well, if you buy parts, as a general rule, if you buy parts, you fit them. That's the general rule. So yeah. So unless I agree to it, or I pre-arrange it with a person, that's the only circumstances where I fit customer supply parts. But anyway, right, that's it for this one. Maybe get something out of it. All the very best, and